Hello, and welcome back to the series where I'll just be talking about Fnaf. And now, Fnaf 4. Fnaf 4. This is probably a game where I think, um, it's a really interesting game in my opinion. Because this game not only probably ruined the lore of the series, and made me just realize that maybe Scott just doesn't care anymore, just wants to make money. But at the same time, it also ruined Fnaf for me. And I wanna just not only talk about how this game probably killed Fnaf, but also talk about how this game is also good but has some flaws. So let's talk about on how Fnaf 4 is good but flawed. Now the gameplay of Fnaf 4 it felt different in compared to Fnaf 1, 2, 3. Now yes, Fnaf 3 was also a little different too, but Fnaf 4 just felt a little bit more different. This time, instead of an office, you're in a room and you play as a child instead of a security guard, which, okay, that's something I guess. But another thing I want to talk about is how, wow, okay, FNAF 4's gameplay is, I think it's a mixed bag for me too. Because, like, I think it might be good, but I also think there are some bad parts of it. The breathing mechanic is interesting, but in the first version of FNAF 4, you could barely even hear the breathing at times. And hell, if we didn't, if you don't, nobody is playing FNAF 4 with a headphone. No one. No one's willing to like just play FNAF with headphones. So like doing that, oh, nobody has enough money to even buy a headphone at times. So again, I don't think anybody's gonna be like, oh, a hotshot gameplay YouTuber like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye playing FNAF 4 with a headphone. Of course not. And it's just like, okay, FNAF 4's gameplay gets so much hate because of how hard it is, which I agree, it's actually very, very hard, but like, I still think it's good because I like the challenge. Again, I've said in my FNAF 3 video, I like the challenge of the phantoms and I like the challenge of the breathing. And FNAF 4 really just gives me that uncanny vibe. Well, I mean, as uncanny as FNAF 1's vibe, but still, FNAF 4's gameplay is actually like, scares me at times because of the whole thing. I have to like get close with the breathing thing. But the problem with the putting up your mic to basically 100% volume is if you get the breathing wrong and you didn't hear the breathing properly, you will get annoying as jump scare. I'm not even kidding. The jump scares in FNAF 4 are loud as hell. Especially if you put them at 100% volume. And, oh, I mean, yeah, FNAF 4's gameplay really gets lots of hate. But in my opinion, it's good, but also a mixed bag for me. And all in all, good gameplay, I guess. Now on to the lore that ruined it all. The story of FNAF 4 is a little interesting because for me, I don't get it at times. And like, okay, I do think FNAF 4 should have ended. Like, I think FNAF should have ended around FNAF 4 because I do think it's kind of cool that, you know, maybe just a little epilogue, but the lore of FNAF 4 sucks as hell. Like, number one, why not give your protagonist at least a name? At least we know the night guard's name. The random night guards have names like Mike Schmidt, Jeremy Fitzgerald, but the crying child just doesn't. And like, Evan isn't even his name. It's just some decisive code that people had to do. It's not even confirmed yet. At least, unlike Cassidy, it was somewhat like confirmed to be some part of name relevant. But Evan has never ever been a name for the crying child. Hell, neither was Chris. And not just that, though yes, the big brother was bullying him, would end up having a name. Why didn't you give him also a name back then? You ended just giving him a name later on next game. Just left people wondering who these people are and why we should even care about them. Like, nobody cares about the humans in FNAF. And in FNAF 4, and they're on such a location where they would rely more on the humans, yes, like, no, we don't care. We care about the serial killer animatronics or killing machines. But FNAF 4's lore is like so complicated at times. Also, can we talk about if it's the bite of 87 or is it the bite of 83? It just doesn't make sense. Like, when we ended up seeing the bite, we thought, oh, that's the bite. Was that the bite of 87? Well, no, it was actually the bite of 83 because it would make sense if it was the bite of 1987 because like that's not that's not the Fnaf 2 location. That's Fredbear's family diner, so it's a different location. Not just that, the date of the show shows 1983, so might be 1983. It doesn't make sense actually. Like, why, Scott, would you do this? Now there's two bites we have to worry about, and like the 1987 bite we haven't even seen yet who did it, or let alone who the victim was. And can we talk about the most useless thing to ever exist? The box. The fucking box in FNAF 4. Now, listen, I would have loved if FNAF ended with the FNAF 4 box, because yes, Scott didn't open it, but it would leave the people to like, no, hey, what side is this box? But since he hasn't opened it for like how god long, how knows even how long he's kept that box unopened, so it just left people not even caring about that box anymore. It just left them, oh, well, this shit doesn't even matter if Scott's not opening it. And hell, even Matt knew that Scott was and Scott even confirmed that Pat was right, that he kept changing what it was even inside what was even inside of those box. What was the things inside of those inside of the box? Sorry, yeah. And another thing, oh man, FNAF 4's lore isn't as bad as the locations, but still, the lore of FNAF 4 is just, what the hell? What happened? Really, this is the game that probably made FNAF fell off. Like, popularity wise, obviously FNAF is still popular, but god, FNAF 4, it was the starting of a new story. It felt so different. It's like I wanna compare FNAF story to Dragon Ball's story, because like Dragon Ball, FNAF are still popular, but the story of Dragon Ball and FNAF just don't feel the same. Like in the 90s, you cannot get away from Dragon Ball stuff related. And in 2014 to 2015, you can get out of FNAF stuff related. But a lot of people have left the community at times too. And not a lot of people like Dragon Ball Super. Not a lot of people like new things in FNAF. But all in all, FNAF 4's lore is fine. Doesn't really hurt me that much, but still, it's probably the lore that killed FNAF. So yeah, on to the characters. Also, Scott, what the hell did you mean about I will put you back together? What did that mean, Scott? Tell me. Ah! Now this part of the video is gonna be like very short, and yeah, the nightmare animatronics are actually like very scary, and you give off an uncanny vibe, and the idea of like Nightmare Marion and Nightmare being the face of death is like actually very creepy. So yeah, this is the only, good, and the designs are good, yeah. Now on to the conclusion. Now, despite all my criticisms of the game, I still do think this is a good game, and it's a top 5 FNAF game. So yeah, FNAF 4 is good, and yeah, expect a sister location video by next week, I guess. Bye for now.